All right, it's comm system day. I need to go update the thing. Today we're gonna spend, could be the last day of Twitch career dashboard of the summer full-time work. Can I add more than one tag? Let me get social stream working because it's currently down. Give me one moment there, ladies and gents. Okay. All right. So in the Fight Project, the Fight Project was one of the first things, one of the earlier things that I made using monolithic net audio here. So we're gonna go. I can dedicate static. Oh my god, I forgot I added a music player to this thing. That's hilarious. That's so funny. Otherwise, we're processing voice for each of the voices. Press flow to write using gzip. So if Weight Manager 3D has an input build, that's where record bus or mute bus or master mixer, project settings, audio buses in general. So this mix rate. Can we force like a common mix rate? I wonder. We're mixing to 44/100, but we're recording. Playing from input to the record buffer, to the mute bus, into the master bus. Let's put this under settings, actually. Then we export presets. Okay, that's better. Oh. We did have this one working. I wonder what scene. Is the music player set to play on start? Oh, because we moved the player. Oh my god. If you guys, all the audio is moving through. Oh, that's so funny. What do we need? We need a settings. We need a settings UI, prefabs, folder UI. Hmm. Let me turn on that light. Even though it keeps resetting on me. A little bit of light anyway. Keep it better. So on the UI, actually, yeah, actually that's fine. Hey, we had a random follow this morning. That's cool. Environment. Directional light. So when each of our players, which has an audio player 3D, they each have their own VoIP manager. Each player spawns in its own VoIP manager, which is the actual. Is that actually synchronized through the player though? Erad plays and reacts. How's it going, Erad? Do you want to see what I've been working on? I'm working on a VoIP system right now for this is not extremely cool or but yeah, this is actually a system that you can kind of like let me just connect. Here, I'll host, and then I'll connect, and you're actually just hearing the stream audio in 3D. Well, you probably can't because I don't have my NDI stream going over. You actually regularly check the YouTube channel. Nice, nice, nice. So I can give you more of an insight tour. But this is actually a VoIP system I'm working on. Where I can actually like have 3D audio for each player. It's a part of the comm system. But the idea in my game is the player itself, the ship itself is responsible for doing voice. I know it's kind of weird, but like the comm system on the ship is what, you know, is kind of like theoretically sending the data to the comm rays. The idea is there's a generic like communication system, which is a network solution, but the game logic drives the delay in that system. So the further you are away from the comm ray, the more static the system puts on your voice, and the more of an artificial delay that's intentionally kind of added, right, as you kind of get like further away, you know, to a point that it's really like negligible. And the only way of actually like increasing that is to drop your own kind of like smaller satellite that can work like as a relay, and that works as a relay not just to control like the audio, but also to control data synchronization. Like in Unforgiven Space, ships are dumb. It's a very 80s game. So it, you know, it relies on the comm system for doing a lot of like, you know, route tracking with the navigation system, kind of uplinks with all the data around you. That way, as a pirate, stealing, like, you know, stealing navigation routes and navigational data from a navigation computer is really important to the way the game plays. Because if you're a criminal, it's really hard to be a criminal. But there's also a reward for being a criminal, you know, simply because of the challenge that it presents you with. So what I was working on, and so we're going to go into Unforgiven Systems, which is like the test project where I'm showing off like certain things. I'll do a little bit of both, I guess, to kind of show you what I've been working on. So let's do like, I guess what I would call like the complete tour of some of the data systems, like some of the things that I've been working on lately in the systems project. So to keep it really simple, I'm going to, I'm not going to go into the multiplayer scene. You like the retrofuturism? That's awesome. I like retrofuturism myself. I think it's awesome. So I'm going to log in as Revere and just wait. I'm going to host a multiplayer session as the server. So I am now the server. I'm now going to, now that I've logged in with my Patreon account, I'm going to join. So check this out. So here, you know, I've showed this off before, but we have, you know, like there's Revere. Everything is synchronized. All the weapons are synchronized. Revere can chat, you know, with the server, and you know, all this kind of works. If Revere, you know, comes over here, and Revere spawns in a ship, you know, just kind of the tour. If I'm the server, I'm just going to go observe. You know, you can see that, right? There's Revere. Everything is kind of working. Revere jumps in the ship. You can see Revere interacting with the seats. You can see the seats actually animating. You can see Revere getting in the seats. You can see now that everything's powered up. If I come over to the side, you can see that like all the weapon systems are online and synchronized. So you can see like here all the gimbals and everything. So you know that's it's 100 NPCs for network testing purposes. There's 100 synchronized NPCs. There's 1,000 virtual NPCs that drive the economy of Unforgiven Space. But I want to show you what's cool. So check this out. So I'm going to come over as Revere. These are placeholder habitation modules. I'm going to be doing a Kickstarter when the vertical slice is working. I want to make sure all the tech works first. I don't want to go to Kickstarter with like, oh, this is my dream. Come help me. Give me a lot of money, you know, to fund blah, blah, blah. I want to show you what I'm capable of doing. So check it out. I can now interact with this terminal, and there's Rav's Place. So Rav's Place is my actual habitation module on the server. If I let me just bring it up here. Let me go to the, I'll go to the dev galog website. I just need access to. Not what I wanted. Okay, so check this out. So we have habs, and we have player habs. This is what I call a hab. This is the data on the server. So this is like your account. So these are all the items and snap points and all the data that represents like a habitation module. And that's important to keep up, because if I interact with it, I can actually go, let me move this over. You can see like I can't interact with the screen because there's nothing for me. Like I'm not the account that owns that habitation module. But if I go and unlock it, it actually spawns in my habitation module, and everything is synchronized. So all the items, the couches that the player purchased, everything fully works. Check this out though. I'm going to stand back here as the server. Now, even though right now this is kind of single player-ish, let me go over here and buy a few more couches. So I'm going to purchase like 3 more couches, and you know, I'm going to throw these on the ship, and I'm going to bring them over. You can't see this on the other client right now, but you know, I just bought a couch. I socketed it in place, and what I want to do is just despawn and lock the hab, so it swaps it back out again. If I go and check back on the API side of things, you can see that that data has all been serialized. It's fully persistent. So, you know, if I were to like, you know, completely, you know, leave the game and go back in there, you know, and spawn in my hab, but I'll just do it on one client as an example. I'll just, right, like everything, all of the props and everything, all the components, pretty much. Same with ships, right? So online, log in, go to hab testing, come over here, unlock Rav's Place, and look. Right, if I take all this shit, just yeet it out into space. Right, so say I just, you know, want to throw out all this. Right, it's all gone, and we go ahead and we lock it. Right, it's now gone. Spawn it back in. Right, it's yeah, you know, and if we check the data, right, they're all empty. So the right, they're all null. So all the item ports, you know, are not a thing. It'll magically stop eventually. There is a there is a drag, a rigid body. What do we call it? A dampening on rigid bodies, and the reason why there's a dampening on rigid bodies is the faster you put them back to sleep, the faster you can not have them actually being simulated. But that's an intentional mechanic, right? Doing something intentionally, right, to build a stable environment is really important. So what I've been working on, ERAD, if we now you know, and have you seen yeah, let's go to the empty testing here. And then we'll go into the main project. So once again, we're still in, you know, the Unforgiven systems where we're just gray box everything. You know, it's gray box world where, you know, we have our new turrets for the prison system, and you know, all the different components and things for outfitting the ship. But if you haven't seen this, if I spawn in my ship now, and we go grab the warp drive. I'm just going to clip through the door, because... Oh, I already have one. Never mind. We're good. There's already one on here. Yeah, I was hoping to have... yeah, check it out. So I know you've seen this, maybe? There's now warp. And warp is persistently, like, you know, like... keeps going faster and faster and faster and faster, and scales up and scales up and scales up. You know, you can actually traverse... reminds me a lot of what warp space is doing. What's warp space? There's some graphical glitches with it, but it's you know, working fine. There's some things I need to finish with the shader. Like I like the way it does displacement, because you need to be able to see the universe around the player, and you know. So you know, that's what I've been working on. So if we go back into... So you've seen everything working in multiplayer. Let's go into the real project. And I'll show you some of the cool things that we can do with Godot. So I have the medical module done. The medical hospital is 40 rooms. So it's 40 rooms, 24 surgery stations. We'll let her load up. Better be enough doctors in the game universe. I don't know about that. Come on. Okay, so yeah, so check this out. This is a medical station. I'm going to zoom all the way out just to kind of show how things kind of stream, and how the LOD system works. So I'm just going to slowly come in. I'm in editor mode too, so I'm just going to slowly come in. Right, all the level of detail just comes on in, and we can go all the way in, right, until we're inside one of these rooms, which is just lit with ambience right now. Right, because I love the idea of having it so, like, when you know, if you're at a hospital and you're like looking out the window, you can see, you know, the actual like exterior. You know, it actually means something to the player, right? Like, because the gameplay. So medical gameplay for you as a person, like you wake up in your room in the back of the tank, and you kind of go out, go pay your bill, and you're off on your way. Medical gameplay for an NPC being rescued is bringing them right to the medical hangars, landing, taking them, and putting them into surgery, right? So that's like the just getting them here, right? That's the gameplay. It's not very complicated, you know what I mean? It's just, you know, you have a rescue beacon, right? You go rescue the NPC. It's like a timed deliverable cargo mission. You have to kind of get them to safety before they die, and you know, that's kind of how it works. A lot of detail now on the ship. The ship's actually coming along a lot. I've been just kind of like giving it a little bit of a, not a final pass, but just cleaning it up for a vertical slice. And this is, of course, like, so what you're seeing, I'll hit play here, is you're seeing the final implementation networking wise for this. And networking, of course, but right, so I want you, the player, right, to be able to see. Now you can actually kind of see like the work I've been doing now over the summer, like getting all the buttons in, getting the airlocks working, just like a little bit more extra polish on things, like getting you know, things just kind of like working, you know, more stable environment. Still a lot of gray boxiness to a lot of the exterior, but it's no big deal. But let me go over here. I'm going to buy some items. So this configuration, like buying some bar stools, a sofa, the island, the light, one of everything, right? Hey, Mungalo. You know, this is what you're going to be able to do, right? Like you rent your own room, and then you bring everything in, and you actually customize it. And, you know, you've already just seen an example of it working just on the other project. So, you know, you being able to buy these things and making a place that you can spawn in, right? Hey, but at least you're not in a phase of which you make things pretty. This comes later. Yeah, exactly. I'm just gameplay first, right? Just gameplay first. Just make the gameplay. You know, because if I make the gameplay, I can have a player play the gameplay and be like, is this fun? And they could be like, no. And I'd be like, okay, well, what can we do to make it more fun? You know, and then the player provides feedback, and then we just make the thing do the thing. You know, we're not like a million years into development, right, before even realizing that a mechanic, you know, isn't a viable thing, you know? Anyway, so this is like, yeah, so this customization is what you're seeing in that other project. We already know how to make it more fun. It involves blackjack and something else. Exactly. Yep. But look at how well this runs. Like, you know, now. Let me, let's go fly over to that the medical module. Right, like, there's literally 40 rooms here. Yes, it's blackjack and hookers. I'm legitimately going to hire someone to take some of my main character assets and maybe make a like a 3-titty version for the like the fifth element. Yeah, you gotta have pad lizards. You gotta have pad lizards, you know. Can't make like a space trucking game and, you know, not have pad lizards. Where's our gravities over here? Yeah, so like what's cool though is like I'm just gonna fly up here. But I didn't realize this, but all of this is just lit with global illumination. There's no lighting in this entire thing. Only global illumination. And it's kind of cool. It's remarkable, you know what I mean, what things are. You're watching me from France? Hell yeah. You're looking at Revere Luxury Hospital Services? I like the dark lights. Like the dark lights, everything being kind of dark and dingy and... You're right, but like just having... Anyway, so that's one module. Let's go talk about the other module. Prison testing. Let's go. Space after all, space black. Dude, there's no excuse to making like a terrible space game because space is so diverse. You only ever have one asset at a time loaded in, you know what I mean? Like, so this is I could actually show you this now, Erad, from a, like, it's not done or anything, but, you know, so you as a player, you went to prison. So you got killed with a crime stat. You wake up in a prison system. And I've probably showed you this in like a theoretical sense, but I haven't had the asset cleaned up enough to be like more gray box. But the idea is you leave, it says prisoner 5-4 whatever, please head to processing, because I just got to record a couple of different numeric characters. So it's easy to be like, prisoner 842, please head to whatever you are, right? You're just recording, you know, just those letters. Easy voice acting. So the idea is the station is filled with these turrets, and the turrets are just automatically tracking you. When you leave, we're going to have a yard. So this will be a cargo yard. I think I put like, yeah, there's a few props I've been working on, but they're like nothing special. Just glorified, you know, just placeholders for vending machines and stuff like that. But because I want to get into this. So the idea is we can't trust players with elevators because they could kill each other in elevators. So we have ramps. Is there soap mechanic? I don't know. I'm not sure. You just slip on the soap. All right, so here's our factory line. This is where we're going. You can kind of see in advance what we're kind of up against here. All right, so you don't have a choice but kind of follow what will be indicators that are on the floor. Right, and this is where the economics come in. So, you know, here's the mini game. So you're in a factory line. The factory is either producing or repairing components. And what your job is as a criminal is you have components that are spawning in and coming across the belt, and you're tack welding them. So it's more like a precision on point tack welding mini game. It's not extremely complicated. It's not supposed to be. Nothing in Unforgiven Space is complicated when you take it in isolation. So, but I want you to keep in mind that while you're here and you're doing that, because you're just trying to get mirrors to leave, you know what I mean? So you're doing the mini game, and not really. But what's cool is you do the thing so you can get out of jail. But what you don't realize is this prison module being attached to a regular station, it's actually producing. The idea is the prison module is actually producing those resources. So because the you know, because there is, I just want to turn off the exterior. Thank you. So because, you know, there's crime, and I like the idea of prison forestry. There's different types of prisons. There's an agricultural farm that happens to also be a prison. There's also factories that aren't prisons, that don't have turrets. You know what I mean? I can mix them up and make them a prisonified version of a standard like economic node, you know? So a factory in general produces, well, in your case, it's producing all the components that you're welding. And if you take note of the type of components that are spawning in, that you're repairing, those are actually the components that are being produced. And the higher the crime is in the area that has this station, right, that has this module attached, the higher the production yield. So that way, the price of those items would be cheaper, right? So if you notice you're working on a really good quantum drive because you get more familiar with, you know, the game's components, you know, while you're in jail, you're like, wait a second, I was working on those, right? Everything in the game is designed to be tied to the economy. It also means that this place is buying like argon gas, it's buying metals, buying the resources that make those components. So it's like you know, the idea is that even though it's not mechanically set up to be a very advanced crafting system, the idea is every item in the game is made up in some design sense of a composition. So like everything from like laser emitters, batteries, capacitors, you know, have an economic background to them, like something that it is made out of. So that way, you know, if there's a factory that makes lasers, right, you can kind of know what the dependency tree is of those things. So you know, like if computers are being made, or if silicon's being, you know, if different things in the game are being made, we take every item that's like the output item, right? A quantum drive, not variations, but just the item itself, like the item type, like a computer, a quantum drive, a cooler, a reactor, right? And we work back from those to figure out, you know, what would ultimately be, you know, the you know, the mining gameplay, like what, you know, lithium, aluminum, you know, like steel, like that type of right, that type of thing. So that way ultimately, like there's a lot more, you know, kind of there's a bit more care into you know, like how things are economically, right, if that makes sense, right? So you have your right, like what is a cooler, you know, like what's the kind of dependency tree of things, right? So that's kind of like how that I'm looking forward to seeing a trade run. And the trade runs are actually easy. Like trade run is just, I could show a stupid trade run, right? Because it's just buying some cargo, putting the box on your ship, closing the door. Please don't tell me we had to fill our cargo boxes ourselves. No, you don't have to fill the cargo boxes yourself. I'm actually going to make a system that compartmentalizes components for you. So in other words, like instead of actually just putting, you know, like when you buy a power plant as an example, and you go to pick up the power plant will be in like a metal 2x1 unit casing, and then you can break out that casing. You know what I mean? Like you can just kind of like open it and take the item out, and the casing will eventually will just despawn. It's not like a, it's just a very nice systemic way of kind of like keeping the components to a skew, you know, to a 1 meter kind of bound. That makes it a lot easier if ships are like dynamic. You know, if I wanted to, let's say, spawn in a ship, right, and that ship is going to be moving like, I don't know, like weapons. Like, I'm not just going to loosely have a whole bunch of weapons bouncing around, right? But I need to visualize that, and I still think it's important, gameplay wise, to literally show the items as they would be. So I think like, you know, like having like a tri laser, you know, as an example, right? Like you would have probably, you know, like 4 tri lasers, you know, in a 2 skew box, like a 2x3 box. So you're sacrificing a little bit more, like less space, but you're just making up with the shipping cost, like, and the valuation of the item itself. So you can assume like you could technically just loosely throw them all into the ship and run more if you wanted to, but just as far as like NPCs that you see flying around and like their variations of moving those type of goods around, I think containerizing them, but containerizing them in a way that makes sense, I think is more important, you know, for like a more stable gameplay methodology. So that's a prison system. There isn't a roadmap. I was hoping to have a whole vertical slice working. So like this is what I do, and it's like I said, we have the ClickUp, and like everything I'm actively working on is on the ClickUp for the sprint. All of this goes into the Discord. So on our Discord, you know, there's a tracker that shows kind of like what I'm working on. Remember, I'm literally actively working on it, so people can just pop in and literally see, you know, like what we're doing. So on the Discord, we have the tracker, and everything that I get done is literally, you know, here. And then, you know, we have Patreon Monolithic. That's our Patreon, and at the $5 tier, right, you gain access to the builds. So $5, you get access to the builds. $10, you get your own little hab. That's what we're working on. That's why it's behind a Patreon thing right now, because I want to have a Patreon station, a station, almost like a concierge station. Obviously, everyone's going to be able to have these. So that way, like, you could have your own station in this area that we're all kind of like, you know, playing. So this is how I'm just funding it right now, right? Because if you think about it, man, all I need is 200 people to pay me $10, and I can sit here and do this all day, every day, you know, 10 hours a day. If you think about how many players, if you think about Star Citizen's $25 a month subscriptions and what they offer a player, it can't be too hard to find 100 people that want a good space game, you know? Obviously, it needs to scale more than that if I'm to hire people and kind of like get things more launched, but this just helps me like kind of work on this part-time. So that's the idea, right? We just have the Patreon, but you can just go and like, this is what I mean by transparent. I just push builds. Like there's a build I pushed last night that has hab testing, right? So I just push builds, and then, you know, the Patreons can go and test it immediately and provide feedback and be like, this is fun, this is not fun. And then I just take all of that feedback and, you know, and what I'm working on systems is having in-game reporting. So I want to do all of my bug reporting and like feedback reporting in game, so that way I can attach game data directly with that. So like if a player did a quest and they didn't like doing that type of mission and they were like, oh, this is fucked, you know, they could just open up the menu, report the issue. You know what I mean? No, report bugs. Like, why would you go to a website to fill out a bug report? when you're in the game. You know what I mean? Like if I should be able to hit play. You know what I mean? And as an example, I hit play, right? I go to online, I log in, and anywhere at all here, I should just be like, hang on, let me. I think my ordering. Okay, hang on. I have a bug in the bug. Yeah. Okay. 1 second. Let me. In my bug UI. Yeah, because this button here actually needs to be not there and bound somewhere else. Let me go into the bug UI and make a event. Public. Okay. On bug. On bug open. Actually, yeah, no, I don't need to do that. We can just, there should be submit window button, on button, toggle window. There's already a void there for it. Morning, Hawk, how's it going? Yeah, I want to get rid of this button because this button technically is blocking my input and isn't necessarily being helpful. For the bug UI, I can technically just fix it by rearranging the is logged in screen that the bug UI is after the panel. Panel left, panel right. This one should be right here. Let me just kind of redo that again. Right, so this is the idea ERAD. So let's go back into the website, and I'm going to go to my reports. So check it out. These are all the reports. Rad, your game's not done yet. So let me just do something cool here. So let's do, let's log in, logged in. Let's go to submit a bug. Oh yeah. I need to actually set up the events for this. So I'll just be like, ERAD said the game was bad. And then the imgur link, because we can just have like an imgur link to it. I'm just going to randomly put in like, erad.com. Doesn't matter, right? Just a bunch of crap. You submit it, it gets reported. Close it out, and you can pop this up anytime, anywhere at all. And then the way that I plan to do this, right? So this bug gets reported, right? Like this would be the imgur link. Right, and this would be like the bug report. There'll obviously be data, version ID, but this data coming in would link with ClickUp, right? Yeah, exactly. The data coming in will link with ClickUp, right, through the ClickUp API, then push it into a bug reports backlog. This is the way. Exactly. So then you can just be playing the game, and then depending on the type of bug, like what I'm going to do is bind like different types of callable functions to this. So like if you are doing a mission and the mission bugs out, I can at least report the seed of the mission, like the seed that generated, the mission itself, that like came up with the NPC name and the reputation. And such a huge feature that most games ignore. Well, how are you going to know what you're making if you can't get the feedback? You know what I mean? If players can't test the game, and literally be like, this is not working, especially for testers, because like anyone who's a part of the project now are not players, because I don't sell the game as a game. The Patreon is for supporting the development of the project, and the builds are development builds. They're not alpha, they're not beta, they're not a video game. They're not even like the same. Like there could be a totally different build where I'm like, like the flight model was totally cartoony. It's not meant to be. Nothing is meant to be final. It's just meant to fix systems, right? It's just meant to be like, try out this thing, give feedback, Yeah, even Final games should have a feedback button. You never know, he'll give you like a big idea. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Otherwise, I just think it's yeah. Does it work? Is it fun? And that's all that matters. And sometimes things aren't too fun until things are more all encompassing. There's definitely like like not everything will probably just be fun. But still, you can still definitely yeah, you can definitely kind of go through and yeah, I want the bug UI to be on top. It really should be last because once it's open, you're gonna close it anyway. Yeah, maybe I don't know why I had it set up that way. Sometimes the grind itself is fun because of the reward. Yep. I know who does this a lot. War Thunder is like, did you enjoy the last battle? The battle, and they sure they have data miners. We're improving the games based on that. Yeah, absolutely. I can't see anyone not like it's so weird like that you're sitting in front of the pool of your audience. Like you have a client in front of your user base, which is the game, right? And that game is being played, and that game is literally collecting data and doing what games do. Like just use that, and oh, why is the oh yeah, it does work. Okay, good. Right, but yeah, so those are just the things, man, that are like they're important to me, because I don't like, because I'm only one person, every little thing I focus on takes a lot more time. So like I have to be kind of making sure that the stuff that I'm working on matters, like to a certain degree to someone, but there's a value proposition in the thing that I'm making, or where we're like the direction that we're moving towards. You do so much when you sit. I know I said it, but it's inspiring. Thanks. We're working on FOIP today. What's really funny is I technically could make a FOIP system because all you have to do with a FOIP system is drive blend shape data over the network. But you'd still need an application of sorts to take blend shapes from your phone and feed it into a video game. It's not that easy, but you could still technically, like, well, Revere, keep it up. I'll occasionally rave whenever I see you. Yeah, and tell your audience, it's I've had a lot of guys, the support's been growing for the project, and I really hope it, it gets to a point where I can go part-time. That's all I want to work on now. That's why I'm putting so much effort into it. But I need to prove to people that the game has viability, and, we need to get to that point. Yeah, I need an option to select the microphone. So this is what we're working on today. We are making an actual voice over IP system. That's the reason you're working on the vertical. Yeah, I'm trying to make it all look good. Like, I don't know if you're here earlier, Hawk, when I was showing ERAD. I finally went and finished the habitation system last night. Like, it spawns in all the furniture items now. So like you can actually now in multiplayer buy all your components, stick them inside the hab, save it, despawn the hab, spawn it back in. You can't see other people moving furniture around. Like, that's still a single player experience, but that doesn't matter, right? As long as the player is spending their own money to buy their own items and then moving them and socketing them into place, and it's all saving and it's persistent, and you can spawn them in so that you can invite other people over to your hab and stuff like that, and that it works. All that matters. Because I mean, not only have I solved that, then it's the same code for ship components, right? And what do we want right now? We don't care if ship components are seen, as long as players can buy them and bring them to their ship, lock them in place, and when the ship does spawn in or respawn, those components are still seen by the other players. Edit the game is migrate from Unity or Godot. To Godot, you're making waves in progress and features. Yeah, I know. Once, it's just getting everything ported was the big hurdle. But I also had 2 months to work on the game full time, so I'm getting my wrong input for this. We need a way to we need a settings UI. And we need it to save. So we actually do need some type of game manager for this thing. So we'll make a game manager. We're gonna totally reinvent the wheel here. Project settings, we'll have an auto load. And we'll just pick our game manager. Our game manager is still going to be a node. Like, I'm not going to do a singleton, like a pure singleton pattern. Net.audio game manager. This is one just for audio technically, but this is a prototype, so it doesn't matter. Right, as soon as I've moved house in October, we can work on the next gameplay featurette video. Nice. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff planned for the next like vertical slice I want to feature. So we want to keep track in the game manager of clients. I'll do that here actually. Let's do Godot collection. We'll do an array. Client. We'll just use this to. Oh, we're not using C#. Oh yeah, no. Let's actually do that. Let me change it to C#10 because I'm lazy. .NET 8. Yes, we are using .NET 8 for everything. Okay, thanks. Because I don't want to use my port. Okay, we're good. Is that it? Okay, so we have our clients. Ship details come along nicely. As most of the content will feature the ship, keep adding details. Yeah, I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not doing a lot of materials. Just, you know, normals and you know, and of course like components, like things themselves. I'm getting the things modeled, but you know, because of the time sink. Yeah, so I want to keep track of the client. When we join, so server, are we using server 3D now? What's the difference between the two? VoIP 3D is using server 3D cables. It is, so we're not using server 2D. Okay, so this is just the old one before I started working on the So I'm on add client, we're creating our FPS player. Spawning them in. This can actually be an FPS player. Doesn't need to be casted. What's our spawn location? Notepad. That can just be a node. Yeah, I don't know why. That's just not a node 3D reference. Maybe we're playing with content. So from get this promulgation bucket. It's gonna be a node 3D instead. So I want the player to have a public decals, no step. Decals are pretty simple. I don't know if this needs to be called a VoIP manager. It'd probably just be a VoIP node or a VoIP 3D node. Because I think yeah, because we have, let me just take a look at the code here. Yeah, a voice over IP node. I'm just call it a VoIP node and a VoIP 3D node instead of manager because it's the one that goes on the node. I'm gonna like totally yeah. Let's call this a VoIP 2D. Yeah. Because it's non-stereo audio. Oh, it's gonna mess up so much in oh no, the student Godot. Yep, so let's call this one a VoIP 2D. And this one a VoIP 3D. So I have an idea of how I want to do this. And we will depend on VoIP 3D being a node, and then this one, and that just be a node because I don't know if I care, but yeah, this will just be mono. Yeah, so when I did this, when I was working on this before, the issue was because we couldn't use packed arrays. or we couldn't use a packed vector2 array when we were compressing them. I don't remember. There was something slow. There was something slow about audio compression by using an array of native, like a Godot variant of a vector2 array or something. Compress float array, decompress. Compression mode, compression level. Yeah, I don't remember. Alright, so we're sending it over UDP. For send buffer data, it's going to actually be an expression method. Trying to write this with the least amount of code possible. Like, what is the least stable amount of code to get audio muxing over UDP? Yeah, I think this is better, because then this can be a custom node type, right? Which is going to be right, a VoIP 3D node. We can actually kind of give it an icon. You know what I mean? Like we can make it like a custom thing. Right, and then I like this. Yeah, this can literally just be called VoIP 3D then, because it's type. So this way it can be a component of the FPS player. So when we're doing our synchronized properties, because the issue that I realized while I was in the tub earlier today, that the reason I was having latency issues with this is if my recording device is like 44-100, and I have another player who's playing the game and they have a recording device that's say like 48,000. So we have two different. Yeah, so stupid, right? So we have. Let me try to like wrap my head around it. When we spawn in each player, we spawn in their own player, right? They each have their own audio player because that represents their own data, simply because it's 3D, right? So we need the player to have their own little audio, you know, their own VoIP 3D. And when the player, on the client side of this, when they spawn in, we have an audio recorder that's recording everything and bringing it through the audio buffer. So we have our audio. So we're going into the record buffer, we capture it. This way we can layer. We can layer in effects on the bus on the client side. Like we can figure out like what we want to add to it. And this way we have a mute as a control on the bus side. So if we want to like mute a player, you know, we kind of have this kind of like hierarchy of record bus, in the mute bus, in the master bus. But we don't know what client is running what. Like we don't know if we're like 44-800 or if we're 40 or for 44-100 or 48,000. But anyway, if we can set the playback buffer stream of each client independently, all we have to do, right? Because we have each client represented by their own VoIP 3D node, and we are RPCing over UDP to each of the clients. We're not really, this is like a client authoritative push, right? All we have to do is make sure when we connect, we send in our local recording bus bitrate. So we say, hey, I'm connected, but I'm going to connect to the server at 44-100. So when it spawns in me on the other client, you know, my bit rate as it's going to be receiving, I now know that I'm 44-100, even though I might have another person with like a Rode mic at 48,000. You know, the UDP stream of that vector2 data, it's vector2 because it's two channels, so two channels of data, right, left and right channel, because there is stereo mics. We literally can just push that data, and the data will match on each client anyway, because it knows that, you know, like that client's audio player and that client's local audio input are the same. And it's all going to be muxed on, you know, Godot's default output system anyway for the project settings. I think it's going to get rid of the issue that I'm having right now with the audio drifting as players are talking. If they're, I know it'd be cool, but if you quickly press F1 or something to mute someone talking to you, you could totally do that. Because if you're looking at them and you're raycasting them, You know what I mean? And you have your own authority because we're not authoritatively controlling VoIP. You know what I mean? At all. It's too much. You don't want to bounce. You never want to bounce voice data off of anything. Then we can just look at that player, interact with them, get that player's VoIP node and muted, which is only going to be applicable to you anyway, because they are just a version of themselves on your client. So you could totally look at them, send a raycast, if it is player, player.voip3d.mute, you know what I mean? But whatever public methods we define on the VoIP 3D node, they can just be called locally. Right? It would be nice to have still server authoritative control over who can send data, just so we can tell them to shut up and stop sending data around. You know what I mean? Like you still want to have some authority, but as far as pushing the UDP data around, I don't think that's why I think like we make it so Unforgiven Space, like the comm arrays, work like a service-oriented control to how client data is sent to each other. So so they can't really, they could probably find a way to hack it or something. But in reality, it's not really gonna like yeah, and like so. What I've added to this as a meme, me and Fusion did this last year, is on this project I have a music player. And the music player, I can load up MP3s, and that's exactly what it does. Because I wanted to make it so players could DJ in the club. Like there would be like one node, one voice input RPC, that could be like subscribed to, and any data that does get sent to it like would be relayed. So you could have like a client walk up to a DJ, like thing in a club and like kind of like hook into it, and they could totally play music, and the music would be broadcasting. And really, it's kind of under the hood. It's just doing that. It's just reading. But we tested this out. Remember, like we made this thing. Like that's the whole. Remember, because this was the project I was working on when you said make the stereo deck. You know what I mean? Remember when you were like, "Oh, let's do the stereo deck thing"? That came because we were working on this thing. You know? Because like I want you to be able to listen to your own music with the environment being applied to it. Right? Because that's cool. Like you want to hear the ambience and all the rumbling and kind of like, like put on some 80s Bon Jovi or something and have it like a, a Spaceballs experience, T-player, that's good. Feature creep. It's not it's not necessarily feature creep. Yeah, so then I don't know why there's so much code smell here. Set up audio based on the conversion. Why are we setting up audio? Oh, okay. I gotcha. We're setting up the buffers. And then setting up the effect bus. If the effect bus is an audio capture effect, does it actually need to be captured? Like, does it need to be casted? No. It still needs to be casted, whatever. Oh, it's been so long since I worked on this code. Like, a lot of the stuff has changed, with the way they do things. I'm just like, yeah, like it's not a VoIP manager. This one, yeah, it says server is using VoIP 3D. But I need it to actually be called what it is, not VoIP manager. What's GDD? Godot. A game design document? No, I don't. It's all been in my head for years. And just like, you know, brewing. It's all pieces all over ClickUp. You know? This, yeah, I'm going to actually rename the nodes to be what they should be. I don't know why a lot of this stuff is the 2D one by default. I guess I got 2D working first. Set up audio based on a multiplayer unique ID. Yeah, so there must be a 2D player, this one. One. Player 2D. Okay, so player 2D, which is literally a nothing. We'll have a plate 2D node. With an audio stream player. It's like the fundamental test project. Where they can't even move around, they just exist and stream audio to each other. I also wonder if we can generate, instead of having to like define the audio stream player, you know, I wonder if it's worth the cost to kind of like create these on the fly and set them up on the fly. I know, like, kind of, you know, it's more convenient if they do exist, like, in the node structure, because they're a dependency, but, you know, like, just as an all-encompassing node, it's kind of nice to just be, like, just have the node create the audio stream and spawn it. Like, I always wonder what the cost would be of just having something spawn, you know, on runtime versus having it already existing, especially then with the tool script. You could hide a lot of, like, you could hide a lot of extraction behind just the node itself and not have to worry about what it does. Like, it could, like, have it as a child and still be referenced and not necessarily need to be shown in the, you know, the inspector. And there's no risk of a, you know, a designer, like, deleting a bunch of, like, child dependencies. But, yeah, I never know what the correct, you know, like what the cost is of just continuously generating stuff as you need it versus probably negligible, given that they're only loaded once anyway. We have a player now with a Fleep 3D node. We should actually make some icons for these. Like, we should make this Fleep system an actual thing that can be documented and, you know, actually kind of like figure out like what, because I don't think I'm using anything .NET specific. Because I think we can use the glib stream. I think, yeah, that's just system IO. But I think Godot actually has a compression library. I think there is in docs. I think we could actually compression. What do we have in compression? Optimizing. Because in audio compression, there's something. There's something I was messing around with the inner pack byte array. Hey Phil, how's it going? Oh, it's going good. It's going good, man. Like, my game's coming along real good. I got a lot of the systems actually working now in multiplayer. It's good to see you. Hopefully you're still working on Mechanist. Yeah, if we're compressing, can I use something? Can I use network compression client side? There's got to be, what do we have here? We have any different compression modes? Class file access. So file access. Because there is a gzip compression in the file IO. I don't know if we can use that. You're still working on Mechanist. Hell yeah, cool. Let me let me give you a little tour of my the game work in progress. Let's moving things over to Unity. I'm working on a voice over IP solution today, and hopefully building in some of the stuff into the client. Just need to make code more modular. Shouldn't be any performance. Leave that open. Trying to get Unreal Engine 5, to be honest, also. Oh, interesting. We'll do the systems project, just so I can kind of show you the just some of the things that kind of works. Got warp and everything working. Like a lot of the gameplay stuff is pretty much done now. Like in a fundamental level, obviously, it's tons of art, tons of work, and so ignore art right now. Just think of systems right now. For this project is all gray box. It's the first one I created. I'm going to log in online as Revere, and I'm going to wait, and I'm going to go and host a session. So here I am in a world. I'm going to go to multiplayer. Oh, I can have the mouse back. Is my bug screen stopping me from clicking? It is. Bug screen strikes again. Yeah, no, I really got to do the... It's just this one logged in screen that I created. I was testing some bug reporting earlier. We're just going to turn off the bug UI. Okay. Bug button becomes a bug. Is that Godot? Yeah, that's Godot. I ported everything over to Godot. I have total freedom now. Well, I can now go. I now have 64-bit precision. I can fly around anywhere. All my limitations that I had with Unity are gone. So let's get into multiplayer and join as Revere. No, don't hit host again. Rev, you had one job. Go fill off the thing. I went Godot, poured everything in 6 months, and the project is now 1,000 times better looking. I'll show you how good it looks later, but I just want to... So I'm logging in as Revere. I'm waiting. I'm going to host a session as the server. And we're going to enter multiplayer. Okay. I'm now... So there is the server player. Here's Revere. What I want to do... So check this out. Everything on Revere is fully synced. There's 100 NPCs around me, all fully synced. All those NPCs, they're all real. I can see this one kind of going by the server now. So we have all the IK systems, components, the little thing I use. Like I have an in-game menu system for like my little thing on my panel, and that is synced. You know, like little like little stuff like that. So anyway, let's come over here and spawn in my ship. So there's my ship. Now what I want to do, just to give you the tour that I keep giving everybody else, is let me come over here and look at the ship. And I'm going to go ahead. Here's Revere. You can see Revere jumping. I'm going to jump in the ship. You can see Revere interacting with the seats. You can see Revere jumping into the seats. You can see the weapon systems coming online. Right, you can actually see the ship's gimbals, you know, everything working. I'm gonna just take off and come over here. And so this is all working. We can go spawn our own ships and kind of do our own thing. Warp works in multiplayer. You can go over here, gain speed, and engage the warp drive. Right, we can literally go wherever we want. Like it's 64-bit precision in the game. There's no more rebasing all the limitations I had with, you know, Unity. I can stay going forever now, and I can spawn in my own ship on the server. But anyway, this is what I actually want to show you. Let's bring the server character over here, and I want to show you some of the persistent stuff. Let's jump out of quantum and burn off that speed. Look at how far we are away, Phil. Right? I can keep going until there's no more planets, you know? And I can actually see that player coming in, like that. It's all, you know, like oh, it's not over yet. Not over yet. Oh, it's not over. Let me where is the system? I like popped out of warp. Where am I? Don't even know where I am. Okay, there I am. All right, where's the player? Let's go and show Phil what I was going to show him. Okay, all right, Phil, get ready for it. All right, so check this out. I'm logged in as Revere. I can interact with the panel. I can spawn in my habitation module. So I just spawned in my hab, and there's my full apartment. So check this out. So I'm going to stand back here as the server, so I can go back to Revere. So I just spawned in. So that's Rav's place. Rav's place is spawned in. You can see it's Rav's place. So we're going to go buy some items. Let's go and let's go buy a bunch of couches. Now you can't see the couches on the other clients right now, but I can take my couch. You know, all the systems I ported over fine, right? Like gravity, in gravity, out of gravity, you know, you've already seen all that stuff in Unity. So let me bring the couch in and socket it into the item port. And let's do the other ones. We bought a bunch of couches in kind of like single player-ish. And now we're going to go back over here and we're going to lock it. So we're going to despawn it. Now it's gone, right? It's now back to normal. If I go back to here and I look at my habs, right? All of this is persistent. So there's my hab. There's the two items. Let me move this over so we're kind of adjacent, right? So we still have like two null item ports. So let's go and unlock it again. Right, spawns it in with all the items, and you can see like on the server, right? It's all spawning in, despawning. So, you know, like all the configuration of the habitation modules are now like working. Ship components work the same way. So we can now do missions, we can buy cargo, we can put it on our ships, we can go from place to place, we could do all the gameplay loops of the game, which are kind of still single player-ish, but we can do them all together now in multiplayer. We can be together. Like, I can even, check this out, watch this. This is the server ship, I think. I think it's a server ship. Is that my ship, or is it the server ship? I think it's my ship. Yeah, it's my ship. Okay. Let's go, I'm in. And let's go join. Check this out. So there's Revere. I'm gonna go join Revere. You know, because playing games together are kind of fun. You know, you gotta play games together, right? Let's go. Right, let's go together. Right. Boom. 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 Simple, right? But let me show you yeah, I'm just gonna leave the bug reporting turned off because I'm too lazy to fix it right now, and I want to show Phil what the game actually looks like. Now let's go see Unforgiven Space. Go look at the actual game. Go see where the game is. Let's go see where the game. Let's go see where all the time is spent. As Phil, you may know, I spend most of my time in Blender. So let's look at the prison module. Let's look at prison testing, and let's look at the empty test scene. So this is what Unforgiven Space looks like now. And I got some server meshing stuff working too, Phil, but it's too early for it to matter. Oh yeah, I can't have two versions of this one running right now. This Godot does not like me running 2 instances while I still have the other project running. I don't know why. I really need to figure out why it gets so weird while I have another thing focused. Yeah, 4.3 stable, wink wink, stable, wink wink. So here you'll see more of like the lighting. I still don't have the main character on this particular scene, but this is what the ship actually looks like now. Now, the color is because I changed the skin. You can actually bring the ship into the hangar and change how the ship looks. So check it out. I can actually like pop in. Like this is like all the, you know, like more final art. It's kind of like more stabilized now. You know, I don't have that. This is still kind of gray because I just made this airlock system. I haven't really done anything with it. It runs super buttery smooth. To give you an idea, Phil, of like Godot, let's head over to the medical module here. This medical module, Phil, is dynamically lotting in. Every one of these rooms are modeled. They have a full interior, right? And I can just keep coming back until this thing becomes, you know, nothing. SC be like the ship is $1,000 guy, right? I can just keep on going back until this becomes a dot, and it runs fine. Right, as I come in, I was gonna actually like fly around this before hitting play, but anyway, we're just gonna super cruise our way. Yep. So Godot does automatic lotting, Phil. And when you import a mesh, you can actually set dynamic LODs, and it does all the work for you, and they look amazing. So here we have like an enemy ship. Check out the missile system. I can actually come over here, target the ship, launch the missiles. They fire off the roof. Boom, you know. Now I need to get the shield effects in. This ship is actually a sitting duck for testing. Oh man, it's great what you can do with this. Let me let's go in the hangar here. Oh no! Why is the hangar? My right? Why is my arm not working? Arm, why are you not working? Anyway, this is like what you can do with the ship. You can actually like customize like everything. We don't have $20 ship skins here, so you know. But let me go back and show you what that had module. Are you afraid the game will tank with materials on the mesh? I'm just too lazy to make materials. I'm not afraid that materials are going to tank the meshes at all. Oh, it won't let me disconnect either. Something is something has dereferenced my modulate color for the win. Yeah, I just have a shader for the ship skin colors. The only thing that sucks is every time we like every time we instance a ship, we're kind of creating like a shader copy of it, you know, because it's different color. Okay. UV work, yeah, UV work materials, a lot of work. It's a ton of work. I have a substance painter subscription. Yeah, so this is like, you know, cargo. Cargo is obviously bread and butter. Nothing too complicated about cargo. You know, we have a cargo volume. The cargo has always worked. I think one of the first things I've had working in this game was dynamic cargo grids. You can see that, right? Cargo grids. Right, that aspect is, you know. Oh my god, I'm sticking with 2D for now. Planning what shares, what material. Yeah, I know. It's bad on the import process too. Is kind of. I need to find a better workflow for my Blender, like for my GLTF imports, for matching. So like here's a. Let me show you a box delivery mission. Oh look, I did a box delivery mission of hydrogen. We only have 2 stations. We have a pickup location, and we have a drop-off location. It's like, well, I guess I'm here, so, oh, here's my mission box. And obviously you put it on the ship, and you would go, wherever you'd want to go, wherever the other place is, and and like, oh look, I made money. Right, I made money. Ooh. But anyway, this is what you saw earlier, Phil, is this. Right, so we're gonna buy like a sofa and 2 bar stools and like the island. This new UI system works with my controller now, and it makes me so happy. Right, so you literally buy items and you decorate your hab. Right, and you can make, tons of different customization options to them. Right, like there'll be all these different furniture items, that I can, oh god, right. And all these item ports save, so that's kind of what I have working now on the test project. Because it's just the ship system. This is just the ship system. Instead of a ship snap point, it's an item snap point, right? Yes, it's the same. I'm literally spending all this work working on the. It sends APIs to a backend, right? Like, I'm literally working on getting the Patreon habs working, because obviously people who are paying me $10 a month have a value proposition that I want to maintain, And we haven't had the habs working in a long time since Unity. But, it's the ship system all over again. Right? Like, I literally am solving modules at the same time. And making it work in multiplayer and single player. So, So this is what you saw in the original test I just showed you. Will the hab orbit some planet? They're going to be they're on the truck stops. They're on the stations. They're literally these, right? But this is the medical version of it. They're here, space. They're at the truck stops. We can go. They're literally right here. Right. So when you land and you go into the things, you come down to habitation. Right, and you come up to the habitation thing, and you just go and spawn in your hab, and it will replace one of these with an NPC version to a real one. Yeah, and there's no, like I said, no expectation. But the $5 tier is what gives you access to like builds. I'm totally willing to send certain people some builds right now, because we're at the testing phase of things. A lot of times I just need people like, hey, try this build. But that's the idea. You at least you can register your account and set your handle and kind of get all that kind of stuff working. That's the I really appreciate it. That's my goal, man. That's like here in success is not a lot of money. I only need let's see, what's the equivalent of 18 CAD USD divided by 2. Like if I can just reach, let's say, right, like if I can get my Patreon the 650 USD, I will totally go part-time. Right, like, and we're at like 1100, so it'll grow. It's slow going, but right, but it will only grow as I'm marketing it, really. But I think personally, when the proof is in the pudding, right, like when it is a proven, like when people don't have doubts in it, I can talk shit all day about how cool I want this game to be, but until you see it, I think that's when, I can tell by your tech skills in your current demo. Because, like, if we run into weird challenges, we just decrease scope. That's all I'm, what I mean? Like, that's the idea. Right? I will literally have us on big, giant, empty spheres with nothing on it, except for a really good landing zone until I solve planet tech. But it won't matter, because that big, huge white sphere with one, sphere collider, which is a distance check, is still going to enable me to distribute resources that can be mined and to have landing locations that mean something, that can be artistically worked on. Right? I'd rather have simple and works than you know what game that does not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's important, right? Like this is literally meant to be like Sea of Thieves in space, but very like it just takes. I look like think of it as if this was the freelancer. You know, if this was freelancer as an FPS, or you know maybe like more, you know, you could say maybe like 2012 Star Citizen, but just think of it as like if freelancer was an FPS, you know, like that would be the type of world building and kind of, you know, they're kind of aiming toward nothing mega, just right, just because ideally I want to start building out building blocks where, like, you know, each we start taking modular station pieces and we're able to use randomization. We're able to take a bunch of this stuff and maybe go into Blender, have a bunch of geo nodes that like randomize different things and kind of like, you know, keep the same asset IDs. And then when we export all those empties in the Godot, it just remaps, you know, the names to their, you know, to their in-game prefabs. Like there's definitely ways that we can make the same asset look different, like different types of lighting, different types of hallways, modules. This is a bad example because this is a really purpose-built test station. Like it's designed to have no elevators. It's designed for nav mesh agents to have a static two-dimensional nav mesh with the exception of stairs. You know, like this is a really weird purpose-built station that's just designed to, you know, have halves, have the hangers, have pads, like do nothing too crazy. So it's like, you know. Anyway, Phil, that was the game. But I'm glad. Let me give Phil a shout out as well if he's gone. But you guys should actually give him a follow. I like Phil. And all of the Patreon stuff, just link your Patreon with your Discord, and then the bot will do we'll add the rewards, and I'll just share the project with your email. Eventually, I'll figure out how to use like IFTT. I might be able to do IFTT to use IFTT to set the share permissions of the Google file itself, and then like just kind of like integrate the API with like an IFTT like WebSocket or a webhook of sorts. I got to find a way to just automatically, like, the second someone's linked with Discord and they're in the server, it's like, oh, you know, let me just go ahead and send you the file, or, you know, set the file access to whatever the Gmail is associated with the Patreon account. But I haven't spent the time to go through and figure out how to, like, you know, do that. I'm not suffering from success yet, so I'm not overwhelmed by the logistics of sharing out the builds. It's a good problem to have, I guess. You know, that's like for the game, right? For the game to have like 100 players playing the game, and like, you know, for us to have a problem, I'd already be suffering from the success of being able to work on the project full time. So it's like, you know, because players don't play all at the same time. Everyone lives in different time zones. No one's actually, you know what I mean, like globally, all jumping onto something at the same time. They're playing it whenever they can. Back to the FOIP solution, because I think we want to. Yeah, it'd be cool if we made a different version of the player that was just a node that was moving around or something. I want to try to find a way to isolate, like, have these FOIP 3D nodes. What is the index? The multiplayer ID? Oh, the bus index. Or the capture bus. Index is the audio server, get bus index to record. Oh, it's the bus index, okay. The should probably then not be called that and be called the bus index, because I don't know what index is. And if it's an index, technically it should be an IDX. Yeah, it should definitely be a bus, and you know, we'll use the correct representation. Yeah, so that makes sense. So I know it's the index. Yeah, so get our bus effect for the bus index. The effect ID is 0 because we don't have any. We need to be able to change the early focus. I'm trying to implement some shooting in my game. You're using Godot as well, Hawk? I think you are, right? Excuse me. And if you are you on the Godot Discord? And have I seen you on the Godot Discord? Because I'm always on the Godot Discord, man. There's so many. Okay, good. You were on there. Awesome. I love that Discord. Discord's like, you know, is awesome. Especially when you just don't want to. You know, sometimes you can't stream. You know, if you have to, you have to just sit and work. Like you can't. Yeah, this is the only thing jank. I wish I could speed up. Wait. Let's get ChatGPT to do it. You know, I'm curious. I've never asked ChatGPT to like try to optimize a compression and decompression algorithm with Godot. Hang on. I'll be here as much as I can to keep you accountable from the motivation perspective. Hell yeah. I love ChatGPT. People give ChatGPT so much shit. But if you know how to use it, like if you know to not take it seriously, but like look at ChatGPT's response as like, you know, 1 million people have done this, you know, textually, and based on 1 million GitHub repos or whatever it's crawled, it's trying to give you a result based on the data that it has. And like, you know, within the scope of, you know, what it gives you, there's some hidden truths. You know, there's hidden optimizations. Using compression level fastest, the compression method may result in lower compression ratio. Ensure that the okay, and let's be optimized for Godot C#. Let's say Godot 4.2. I guess just because it's not going to know anything. To optimize the compression and decompression methods in Godot, you can leverage the following improvements. Avoid immediate allocations, so reduce the number of memory allocations by reusing buffers. Where? Right, so create based on our float line. Float array that one. By float array. By the size of the float. Where is our new bright base center line? And we're block copying. So key points. Buffer.block copy is still used for efficient conversion between floats and bytes. Fast is still prioritized speed over compression. And then the memory management, the use of using ensures that resources, which I'm already doing, we're already using, because we don't want to allocate anything if it doesn't exist. So we're just doing it in scope. This version is optimized for performance and memory usage, while the methods may work. So what did we change? Wait a second. I actually like that. Look at this. This actually created a custom class, a custom static class of compression utility. Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, and you know then we can kind of like compression utils. Brilliant. So now we have a compression utils, which is just a static class, doesn't inherit from anything. Okay, well, I'm going to have to change it. But, oop. And we're just using system IO compression. And we'll just put it in our namespace with monolithic init audio, expression utilities. And this way we can try it and see if it works a little bit more effectively. I love ChatGPT, man. Yeah, so this way on Fight 3D now, we have that static method. So instead of, I don't know if we could trust it yet, but so let's just comment it out and we'll leave it there. So to testing new Jippity optimization version. We'll chat Jippity. And then we're just going to use utility compression utils. Yep, and then we're going to use the same thing for here. We're going to use compression utils. Dot compress float array. And if it works, well, actually, technically, what we can do is we can take these and move them into compression utils, because, I mean, might as well. This makes our life a little bit easier. These will be the old methods. Because there's no reason why they can't be, they're static functions anyway. So I think that'll be great. And this will clean up our nodes a little bit more. Now we just have our RPC, right? So we're just doing call local any peer, transferring, we're sending our data, and our receive buffer, we're adding our range based upon our compression response. Yeah, the only thing, I don't know if this like is how fast is add range on a Godot array versus a collection, a standard system collections array. So add range, it's an IEnumerable collection. So we are resizing by I. Next. How fast? Let me do it like C# Godot, adding to a packed vector to array in C#. That's not a thing. Wait, what? No, we never had access to that. I'm curious. See, this is the lies that it tells you. Yeah, we don't have a pack vector array. We have used lists. Oh, lies. Lies to me. It lies. I would like there to be some better with them. Now I'm curious. Thanks again, Hawk, for the contribution. So C# conversions. What are the variant conversions? Where is the variant conversion list of vector to packed array? Oh, wait, what? Wait. When did we get this? Wait. Let me add. How are they? Second. We do vectors dot add. We can append, but that's a link statement. So we have in Godot collections. There's a vector 2. Okay, so it's not necessarily... Yeah, it's just a literal native array. So we can't really... What if we already knew the buffer size of the vector 2 array? What if we like pre-allocated a buffer and just slowly filled it up? Instead of having an array of like... Right, because we can't end... But let's see, what would be the... What's the chat Gippity's response? So if we're going to append, right, another array... Yeah, you had to concatenate them, but let's... Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that either. What log the time both functions take with a stopwatch? Watch the new stopwatch code. What then print watch ellipse in the milliseconds and then... Oh, for actually testing. Oh. Yeah, set log both functions with stopwatch. What's a stopwatch? Is that a default? Never actually. Stopwatch is part of system diagnostics. Is high resolution. Number time elapsed in milliseconds. If it's running, elapsed time. Start new, reset, restart. What's the constructor? Cool. Cool. I don't really need to know. I'm just like brain thinking of more optimized ways of doing something that's probably not even a problem. So I still got to figure out how we're going to... What was I? Oh yeah. So we were going to... So we've optimized apparently the compression. Late 3D node. How's it going, Valkyrie? How are you doing today? We want to... Yeah, because my default input is actually coming from the streaming PC. It's just then sent to the streaming PC, which is not necessarily that helpful. I need to be able to change it. So let's... Yeah, what are we using for the input? Just this one as recording? For generator on master. Okay, that's the one for the player. In the world. Okay, so we're using our own version of ourselves as our recording. Player spawn location. You're doing good, thanks. Awesome. We're prototyping things today. I think here in the in the not necessarily network panel UI, but we can add another panel here for our actual microphone before we actually connect. I think this will be fine. Technically, this network panel isn't really doing much, so we can kind of edit here, I think. Let's add a drop down. Yeah, it'll just be a part of the UI. Which is option button. It is a type of button. Let me see. Option button, mic. And I'm just going to write some absolutely terrible code for the time being. I'm going to grab some public access to that option button, which is going to be option button, mic selected. I'm just going to throw it on the UI. And we'll use I kind of need, do we have public override already? Is there an audio, is there some static audio server? Is there audio server? Have a list. Let me just check ChatGPT. C# get a list of mics. Audio inputs. Just to save ourselves as much time as we can. Use the audio server class. Audio inputs is a new list of strings. Get the bus count for each of the bus counts. Add the devices as a device name. Makes sense. So let's just make a private void. Private void. I'm just gonna say a list audio mics for the time being. And we'll just use system collections for this as well. That's fine. This can be new. Grab our device count from the audio server for each of them. Get the bus name. Do our audio inputs. This can be simplified. And then for each of the audio inputs instead, we're going to do our option selected. And we're going to add an item. Which will have, because that's optional. So this will be the input. Okay. And it's a list audio mics. Refresh, great vibes, appreciate you. Hey, how's it going, UK Superstar? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, so let's do that here. This is not really the place to do this, but it has access to the mics that we can build up a list from. So UI is fine. We just want to see if it works. Right, so we should have... No, those are just the busts. Yeah, I don't want the busts. I want the actual system detected. Yeah. Microphone names. And I want the input devices. Not devices. Does not directly provide methods for the hardware like microphones in the same way that it manages. To get a list of audio, you have to use a platform like Pacific, like Wasapi on Windows, or audio on Mac, or an external C# library. You could use NA audio, which will give our device count by waving device count. I've played with N-Audio before. N-Audio is cool. But I don't need a custom audio solution. Oh, it actually might be a good way of modifying the bit or resampling this. We wouldn't have to use our own compression. But I don't know then if we're kind of... Hey, sine waves, generating audio. So what is Godot using for its audio? Godot audio. What's it based on? Yeah, that's weird. Like, how do you, like, what is the standard method of actually changing the default microphone used for Godot? Right? We can obviously enable. No, we're just using Wasapi. Right? We can enable input, but that's all there is to it. So it must be only by default, just whatever the Windows setting. Like if we go to ear trumpet and we change Godot's default input. I don't know if we can actually change just an input of an application, even with the, we can change the output of an application. Yeah, this is a weird problem. I don't really want to use N-Audio just to get buses. I think that'd be like dumb. Audio, microphone. Record with a, yeah, there's an audio stream microphone. 4.3. Right, note that enable input must be set to true. So on an audio stream player mode, let me just add a random one to the world. So if I create an audio stream player 3D, and we have it as a microphone, yeah, we really can't change the default microphone. Wow. It really is whatever the PC's input is, which is annoying because my input is line in. Because I want to listen to the stream coming back in from my, I guess not a problem for most people. That's so weird. Are we doing 2 hours? I never thought. Yeah, that's weird. But how do we? Yeah, is that actually a limitation of Godot? Have I found one? Godot main breakpoint. Audio over set input device based on audio input device indexes. What? Yeah, set input device based on audio input devices index. Okay, so it does. There's so little documentation. So if we do, yeah, so audio server, let's say, server, get input device list. Returns the names of all input devices set. Yeah, okay. I do want to get the buses though, but that's for something totally different. Let me actually, yeah, let's do another one. On option bus. Okay. We'll do mic selected, which we're going to change the input. Mic sign actually. And then we're going to go in. View. Option button. Option button. Bus. Mic and bus. Yes, I know, just relax. You just do a build so I can. So mic selected, bus selected. And then I do want to go through and grab all those and change the bus. And there's going to be bus. There's really no point in building that up. Now, let's get our device list. Oh, wait, we should actually probably audio server device count. No? Yeah, we just get input device. We only have list, which is strings. And we need a count of that. Alright, gets a list of input devices. Gets an input device. Set the input device based on the same string, return name. And that's all there is to it. That's good. No. Yeah. We haven't been doing it for each. Hello, can I code? Apparently not. Lol. Thanks. And then for each of our input, name. So this, hey. Okay, cool. So it is default. So we should be able to like pick this and then kind of like set it. But we really need to add some type of audio management. Kind of like or like an audio settings or something like that. Kind of like handle this. Yeah. So I think we'll do, let's do under scripts, settings, audio settings. And it could be a node, like it could be a part of the, like the UI. In reality, I think we should make it a resource. I think that would be cool. And technically, yeah, because it is going to be a resource, we should actually use the resource designation. And we'll do public virtual file. Yeah. Settings. And just we'll spell actually this is coming from resource. And then we're gonna keep our so it'll be a public string input name. Then this. Yeah, so this will be our settings, which is going to be saved, and then we'll create a new folder. This will be managers. We'll do an audio manager. And the audio manager will be kind of running in the background. It'll be our kind of our global singleton handling audio, and it will be responsible for just changing the inputs and setting volumes and things like that. And it could be a singleton. I don't know if I'm going to use another audio manager. Or just be one specifically for the VoIP system. That's kind of weird because like I kind of want to make the system kind of not necessarily yeah, let's not. let's kind of create our own. Yeah, let's do a VoIP manager instead, and we'll just to not interfere with the. With any audio system that a player would have already created. Otherwise, we're adding potential conflict. We don't really want any conflict. I mean, conflict because it's a different namespace, but yeah, because this is all it needs to really know is what input we're actually going to be kind of using as a default, and it just needs to be able to tell the audio bus what the source is. So it's not a huge system, but we do want to be able to kind of save it and have it be persistent when we load in to a separate resource. And there's no other thing. Yeah, so technically it doesn't even need to be called setting. It'll just be our VoIP resource. There's no other resource, and it'll be the same, but 2D, 3D. So this will just make it much easier. So this will be like it's saved. The manager will still have a save and load function. Which will set up, our private. But, yeah, it is all based on names, so we're not. Now from the other project that I have here. Let's take this. I'm going to say in our user, this is going to be VoIP. Maybe, yeah, maybe we'll just do like a public. We'll have a setter with a public input name. Which is only a set with that function, but we can just pull it. weight force. Because when we load it, if we don't have one, we should push one out to the file anyway. And then we can kind of just work with this resource in the manager. And it could be const, I guess, is what's complaining. Oh yeah, it could be read only as well. Do 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 do. And then the fleet manager could do all that. So instead of the UI doing any of this stuff, we can still have our UI elements that we can subscribe to. Let me see if I have any more coffee, and I'll be back. What was the best ice happy you've ever had? Ah. All right, we're back. So what we'll do is we'll kind of decouple our little UI from our VoIP manager. We'll cache all these things on the VoIP manager side, and we'll just have our UI on ready. Look for the man, that would be really. Getting rid of Whistlers, we could do that. Why isn't that auto saving? Is it not a mode? And then what we're going to do is just do a callback. So option button, bus selected, mic selected, dot selected. We'll do mic selected. Reserving button down, button pressed. Item focused, item selected. That should give us an index. And then because that array, we'll just do so try get if node or not. Wait. And then we'll set mic by index. Is there a option button, mic selected, item selected? It's selectable, has selectable item. Yep. Okay, we could just bullet. Yeah, we could probably select. Yeah, we could change it by the string. We're getting strings anyway. Curious now. Oh yeah, that works. Okay, good. Cool. Alright, let's just set input by name. Like delete void input. We'll do thing on manager, and then we'll emit. Or on input change. Whatever's going to subscribe to it. I remove those. There we go, Reddit. Replace resource. Input name is also going to be set before we save it. So every time we change this, we should be saving the resource. Do Razor, so this is on Razor Barracuda. So our VoIP T-Res. Input name. It's going to be our microphone, Razor Barracuda. Yeah. And I think we don't really need to keep any references in that class when you think about it. We should be just pushing it to the resource, just having the methods on the main manager, but all data we just keep in the resource, so it's easy to save and load. Yes, we really don't need then anything that we need, anything the manager needs, I can query it, push it to the resource. Like our input volume level. If we could even control that. Yeah, so let's actually do the thing. Was it input audio man input device? It is our inputting. And one thing we should probably do is just make sure that it's just to verify it. Because we should have already loaded our input device references. So we're just going to just make sure that our input contains the input name. Or if it doesn't, I'm going to Alright, so now we have our input set. Move this down here. Input by name and set input name the same. Oh, okay. This should just be this. And then we'll invoke the change to all the other people that are anyone who's subscribed to it. This doesn't do anything. So now, if we run two different builds, one of these can stay the default. I think there's this like, why is the checkbox itself extending when weird? Right, because these yeah, let's set this network panel minimum to 300, maybe 400. Okay, so this one is going to use my razor, and I'm hosting. I should be hearing myself. Hello. Oh, there's something weird about it. One second. Oh. Not setting up the audio authority. Isn't there a try get node? I'm pretty sure there's a try get node. Node or node. Yeah, I don't like this. Okay, so I'm going to host with the microphone. All right. And I'll join with the streaming PC. For me, you can hear what I'm hearing. So as I get closer to the player, the movie, all the music should be coming in from full 3D. If I jump off, it should kind of fade out. Cool. So much more stable than it was. Yeah, because at least all we had to do was change the default input, and we had to change the default output as well to the VoIP system. Or make it tell the audio to change it, you know? I even think there is a thing called handle change. Or is there a handle change event handler? I never even created a handle change event handler. What was this? Unless this was something. No. Now I want to test it. I need a tester. Oh wow, I didn't have any templates. How did I do a build of this last time? Yeah, there is a build that I did. Builds VoIP. That is the last build that we did. Wonder why there's no templates. Files. App. Godot double. We want our debug. Non-console and release non-console. And this is going in VoIP. Export. Publish. And let's see if that works. I didn't want to host it again. All right, stream. I think it's break time for me. I'm gonna pop on the Discord after. I'm gonna need to get some people to help me test this VoIP system to make sure it's stable, because it can't go in the main build until it's stable and well documented. But I only really need input change right now. We just need to be able to change the bus, change the input, save the file, make sure that when we're loading, we're also on load of the VoIP manager. When we are ready, we should do a load. And then on the load, when we set up our resource and our resource is loaded, then we should do our set input name, which will be our VoIP resource dot we've already set. Oh, and this. VoIP, so we can hear you in Scream in Space. Do you want to build this, Fennec? I added something fun to it. I added an MP3 player. And whatever you play in the MP3 player, it gets broadcasted with you. It gets mixed in. So you can actually kind of DJ, you know, anything that's on your computer, wink wink. Now, I don't know legally if that'd stay in the build, but, you know. I should probably check this to make sure that's not empty. Oh, actually, no, because it doesn't matter. This is not going to do anything if the input is not already found, so we don't really have to worry about it. So I'm going to do another build of that. So what I want to do, oh yeah, and this drop down isn't actually going to be, we do want, when we do a load, and we've changed it, we want the selection on the UI side of things to update as well. We want to say, hey, item selected, you know, it's going to be the mic selected, but also when we do have a VoIP manager, we want to say VoIP manager dot input change. We're also going to update the UI. Right, and this will be like, okay, well, if anything loads and causes the input to change, then we're going to just pull the input name and set it. Now, I don't know if you could do like option button selected. Can I actually like select? Oh, it's got to be an index. Can I select by a value? Do I have to like convert that into a index? Well, that's annoying. Now we have to pretty much do name is our so this just kind of like, let's grab our VoIP manager again. I know I should just keep a reference in here, but so when this is changed, we find the VoIP manager again, and we'll have to get the index of the selected and then change it. Yeah, so let's make a function for this. Yeah, let's just do a public int get index. If the resource if the VoIP resource that input index is null, this be a nullable int. Yeah, it can. If variables not in return. Then we want to return the index audio devices, index of the you know what, index f will can do index f will return what? -1 if not found. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's fine. We'd actually just do that. Because we'll get -1. Yeah, so remove index of error. And then on load in UI. If this has been updated, we're going to actually just select the VoIP manager to get device index. Yeah, I don't know which one's better. If you do an if on it, like try to get it and then compare against it. What am I using? Oh, yeah, .NET 8. Okay, good. So when I hit play right now, this should go back to the Barracuda. Or maybe not. Let me change it to the Barracuda. Okay, that's saved. Let me run it again. Oh, maybe wait, hang on. We're loading. Yeah, let me actually, let me make sure we're finding the input devices. Yeah, let me just do it. VD print. Setting the voice by the name. Is it trying to set it to? Let me hit play. Yeah, it's trying to set it, but it doesn't trigger this UI element to do its thing. Probably because we already loaded it. We haven't like, it hasn't been changed. It's like, we changed it, we saved it. And we know everything has VoIP TUS. So we know that's still dynamically saving as our Barracuda. So we know that's fine. So are we not? We should be subscribing to this. Have we not subscribed to it early? Maybe we haven't subscribed to it early enough. We do. The UI finds the manager, subscribes to it, and adds our input devices. What we could do actually is just, let's just convert it to a for loop. What? That was a bit convoluted. What? Why? Yeah, because like you could actually do it as an int, and we could actually just set the selected index there. But I still think we need to kind of go through. Yeah, we could actually just set it here, actually, to be whatever the default value is. Yeah, so we can go through, add the model, and then set the default one based upon the input index. That's already been added. So now when I hit play, everything is now default. If I change it, the line in, close it, it's line in. Yeah, so that's much better. Still needs more cleaning, but yeah. And then we should be able to load a music directory. And then start playing some music. But yep, I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna raid someone, take a break for a bit. Do some more testing on the server. And then push this build. So I'm gonna end it here on the